Hi, I'm Autumn.
Hi, I'm Michaela.
Hi, I'm Demetria.
Hi, I'm DJ.
Who is considered the mother of American modernism? Which American artist contracted typhoid fever but didn't let it stop her in her quest for fame? Who was awarded the Medal of Freedom in 1977 and the National Medal of Arts in 1985? This woman was Georgia O'Keeffe. Georgia O'Keeffe is best known for her large format paintings of natural forms, especially flowers and bones, and her depictions of New York City skyscrapers and architecture, as well as the landscape forms unique to northern New Mexico. By the 1920s, she had become one of the most important and successful American artists, which was a major achievement for a female artist in the male-dominated art world. O'Keeffe's pioneering success made her a feminist icon in later years. Georgia O'Keeffe was born on November 15, 1887, on a wheat farm in Wisconsin. She was the second child of 7. Art appreciation was something that ran in the family, as her 2 grandmothers and 2 of her sisters also enjoyed painting. Her mother got her lessons with a local artist, and Georgia studied art and academics at an exclusive high school in Wisconsin. After graduation, she attended the Art Institute of Chicago, ranked at the top of her class, but had to take a year off to recover from typhoid fever. After regaining her health, she traveled to New York and continued her studies at the Art Students League, where she learned realist painting techniques. O'Keeffe, unable to afford to continue her art studies, returned to Chicago to work as a commercial artist. After moving back with her family, she attended an art class at the University of Virginia, where she was introduced to the revolutionary ideas of Arthur Wesley Dow, whose approach to design and composition was influenced by the principles of Japanese art. This is when O'Keeffe began experimenting with her art, breaking from realism and developing her own visual expression through more abstract compositions. She also began teaching art at a public school and was the teaching assistant of her art teacher at U of V. In 1917, O'Keeffe had her first solo art show, given to her by Arthur Stieglitz, an influential art dealer. A year later, she moved to New York, where he found her a place to live and work and provided her with financial support to focus on her art. The 2 artists fell in love and married in 1924. As an art dealer, Stieglitz championed her work and promoted her career. As she became inspired by the modern art movement, she began to experiment with perspective, painting large-scale up-close flowers. Works like Petunia No. 2 in 1925, Black Iris in 1926, and Oriental Poppies in 1928. The artist also turned her eye to New York City skyscrapers, the symbol of modernity, with works like City Night in 1926, Shelton Hotel, New York No. 1, 1926, and Radiator Building Night, New York, 1927. In 1927, following numerous solo exhibitions, O'Keeffe had her first retrospective, Paintings by Georgia O'Keeffe, which opened at the Brooklyn Museum. The summer of 1929 led her art in a new direction after visiting northern New Mexico. She began to return to New Mexico in the summers to paint, making works like Black Cross, New Mexico in 1929, Cow's Skull, Red, White, and Blue in 1931, and Ram's Head, White Hollycock Hills in 1935. O'Keeffe's works were celebrated in retrospectives at the Art Institute of Chicago in 1943 and at the Museum of Modern Art in 1946, which was the museum's first retrospective of a female artist's work. After the death of her husband Stieglitz, she spent much of her time traveling the world and finding new inspirations for her art. In 1970, a retrospective of her work at the Whitney Museum of American Art renewed her popularity, especially among members of the feminist art movement. O'Keeffe suffered from macular degeneration in her later years. As a result of her failing vision, she painted her last unassisted oil painting in 1972. With the help of assistants, she continued to make art and wrote the best-selling book Georgia O'Keeffe in 1976. At the age of 90, she said, I can see what I want to paint. The thing that makes you want to create is still there. In 1977, President Gerald Ford presented O'Keeffe with the Medal of Freedom, and in 1985, she received the National Medal of Arts. After her passing in 1986, her ashes were scattered at Cerro Paternal, which is depicted in several of her paintings. Over the course of Georgia O'Keeffe's career, she produced thousands of works of art. So many of her works are on exhibit in museums around the world. In 1997, the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum opened in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They are dedicated to preserving the life, art, and legacy of the artist. O'Keeffe has remained one of the most important and admired modernist painters in the United States. Through her consistently provocative and distinctly personal approach to image making, she created a body of work that conveys the integrity of her modernist vision, her independent spirit, and above all, her profound sensitivity to the vitality of natural forces. She helped to establish a new and significant space for female artists in a realm that has continued to be dominated by men. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
No, it was great.
Thanks, guys.